Alright guys, so this is my weapon collection part 2. Hope you'll enjoy it. As I left off with the Gladius machete and how great of a weapon it is, how much I'd recommend it. Very sharp edges, sharp point. Now, when I've done this, I'll move on. Alright, where should I go to? How about I go to here? This is my Cold Steel XL Voyager. Reviewed this somewhat recently. Got this 2014, I think. Maybe back in 13. Yeah, 14. Yeah, I got it in 2014. Awesome, awesome, awesome knife. Folder. Very great. High quality. As you can see, the stuff I get gets better. I showed you mostly the cheaper weapons first, and I improved more. So that's pretty great. What else do we have that I haven't showed? Alright. This is my last homemade weapon I have on the list. This is probably my favorite homemade weapon, the only one I'm really proud of. Right here, this is what I call my barbarian club. I whittled it in part with my axe, which I showed, in part with this Craftsman, and most recently with the Bushman, which did a great job, and I can't even, it doesn't even feel like it's any duller than when I started, but highly recommend it. You could definitely kill some zombie scum with this, or just anyone who wants to get in your way. Would not recommend it for hard use due to its wide handle and its weight. It can be hard, you know, on your bones and muscles, but I mean, it is definitely a devastating weapon for sure, especially since I whittled it down so it's more wieldy and grippy. Love this club, this weapon. It's nice and brutal, and made this at my grandma and grandpa's cabin out of a log, hardwood. Just, it has that roughness to it. It's like something a barbarian or a troll or something would use. Absolutely love it. Now let's get on to, oh boy, I don't have too much more. I'll say this dagger right here. This is a cheap Chinese made dagger I bought at a gas station. This actually, I was quite impressed with it. For $32 buying at a gas station, I don't know. I mean, I don't think it gets any better for Chinese made at a gas station, that's for sure. You mean, it's full tang, and I actually know because once when I stuck it in this cheap sheath, which is probably the worst part about it, I pulled it out and the handle came off and I could see the whole tang exposed. So I'm like, that kind of sucks, but I put it on because it's already tight and doesn't typically want to come off. And basically what I did was I put it in a vise so I could take it off. I pulled it off and I put super glue on it, which unfortunately some got on the blade, and I tried to rub it off and it scratched, but I don't really care about that too much. But yeah, I super glued it on. The blade, I believe, is, I mean, I don't want to review the whole thing, but I mean, it feels pretty springy. I'm guessing it's not made of good steel since it's obviously a cheap Chinese thing, but I mean, it's pretty springy, and with short weapons it doesn't matter as much. It's really well balanced. Love this. If you're gonna buy a dagger at a gas station and you see this one, this is the one you should probably get, you know. And it's not bad for, I was surprised. Where else are we going? Alright, right here. Favorite dagger of them all. This one, Emotional Connections. First of all, for starters, it's cool. It has, you know, like brass and wood, full tang. You can see the pins. There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 pins going straight through there. It's just hard to see because it's brass on brass. The sheath, made of leather, isn't that great, especially this clip, but technically this is a boot knife. Both edges are very sharp because my friend Tony made them sharp, and my friend Tony gave this to me during the summer before he moved to Utah. I love this dagger. This is great. It feels in my hand. It's tough. It's true full tang. Double-edged, easily concealable. You know, you can hide it, carry it. Strong fixed blade. No idea what kind of steel it's made of. All I know is it's made in Pakistan. It's stainless steel. I may or may not have done a review on this before, but absolutely tons of sentimental value. Tony gave this to me, my friend, before he moved to Utah, and we went on all sorts of adventures together. This is an outstanding dagger, and I'm more than pleased with his generosity, and I'll treasure this forever, because this is just a wonderful, wonderful dagger and weapon altogether. No idea what brand it is, how much it costs, anything like that. Just know I love it. It's great. What else? I believe there's only one left. And, of course, I always save the very best for last. Right here. This is my only true battle-ready longsword that I've ever had. High carbon steel, full tang, heat treat, hand forged, extra rings protection. Again, the leather on the handle was cheap, so I wrapped it in electric tape. But other than that, I mean, I've been through a lot with this sword. I remember I once tried to switch out the handle and that didn't work. It was bending the tang in a way I didn't like, plus it was disbalanced, but I mean, I still kept the extra handle. Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's well balanced. I'd like to eventually collect, you know, more swords and whatnot, but as of now, this is my only battle-ready longsword. Great. I practice this virtually every day, and I spent $240 on it total, because that's what it can cost to get like a real battle-ready sword. Long swords, bastard swords, hand-and-a-half swords, whatever you want to call them, are by far my favorite weapon of all time probably, and I'm definitely proud to own one. You know, I'm glad I have it, and that's a lot of money. I haven't spent this much money on, well, anything before, so it's great. And on the sheath, this belt, I've taken this to the Renaissance Festival with me. I've taken this on adventures in the woods, to the cabin with my grandma and grandpa. I've taken this everywhere. I mean, absolutely my favorite weapon. I'm going to keep this in my collection pretty much forever, because this is my first ever truly battle-ready longsword. Arguably first ever battle-ready sword. That katana, I mean, isn't the greatest thing, but I mean, it's still cool to have. So with all that being said, my favorite weapons on this list obviously would probably have to be my longsword is number 1. I'll put my Gladius machete as number 2, just because this is an amazing weapon. And number 3, love this dagger. Number 4, these are pretty much my top. This awesome folding knife. And number 5, this right here. Those are the top 5 right there in order. Now, my top knives for sentimental purposes would probably have to be obviously my sword for top. This or this would follow. I don't know. This was a gift from Tony. This I took on all my adventures as a kid. I absolutely love them both. What else? For sentimental purposes, I don't really know. I mean, a lot of these ones are sentimental because I had them, but I never really got that much of a connection to them. Perhaps this, because this one ultimately got me into it to begin with. So even though I never really developed much of a connection to this, I still gotta respect this. This is also the first knife I ever hurt myself with, so yeah. I'll add this one. Yeah, with that being said, I'd like to talk about what I want to do in the future. I'm turning over here with my collection and what I want to do. First of all, I've decided, I have no idea if this is ever going to work or not, but I'm certainly going to try hard to do this, and at one point in my life I would like to make knives for a living, and I've met other people who said they'd like to make knives with me or help me, so that's definitely a wonderful blessing. I'm a part of a guild now. love to make knives for a living one day. Probably start out getting a job and start off doing that as a hobby, and then use my job to support the hobby, and then eventually turn it into a career one day. I'd love to do that. That is my dream. I don't know if it'll ever come to reality, but hey, I can sure try and come up with a backup plan if it doesn't. Right? Yeah. What else do I want to do? I definitely want to start collecting more weapons, especially because if I ever become a real knife maker one day, I want to, I want to see what works and what doesn't. So I want to try what other people do. I'll probably buy maybe some more Cold Steel products, although I want to maybe branch out into other companies just to experiment. Again, if I get a job and as I start making more money, then the things I'm gonna buy are gonna start being better quality. I may get more swords. At one point, I'd love to have guns. I do not have anything against guns at all. Love guns. I definitely want to have guns at one point, for sure. Just yeah, better quality swords, more long swords maybe. I'd like to have a halberd, a tomahawk, more survival knives, because thus far I only really have one survival knife, and that's the Cold Steel Bushman. So yeah, I'll stay around my $30 to $50 price range for maybe a little longer, and then as I've had a job for a while, I might save up more money and start buying better quality stuff, maybe work my way into the 100th range, and hopefully at one point start buying materials to start making my own knives to show you and to start selling. So with all that being said, there's one last thing I'd like to discuss in this video, and that is, since I've made my 100th video and now my 101st video, I'd like to say, just ask me anything you want. Ask me as long as it's not inappropriate, and by inappropriate I mean not to ridicule me or mock me in a way. Ask any questions you want. Ask why I love weapons so much, what got me started, about knives, just absolutely anything. I'd encourage anyone. Unfortunately, I don't get a lot of views, but just ask anything, and I'll make a video and I'll answer whatever questions you have to ask. Just comment on this video. Ask me anything about my hobby with weapons. Ask me anything about my opinions on politics or religion, or just anything about my life in general, anything about my history that may interest you. I guess you can say that with all these weapons, kind of brings out a bit of interest in my history, I suppose. But yeah, feel free to comment. I'm hoping I'll at least get one question, but what can you do? Absolutely, thank you very much for watching. For those few people who have been watching my videos, thanks for supporting. I hope one day I'll become more popular. Thank you all so much again. I can't thank you enough, and Auf Wiedersehen.